But Johnny, let's close up the podcast, kind of taking a 180, kind of doing something that we've never really talked about in our podcast history. And I know we got a comment on the last week's episode, the one you weren't on, basically saying, wow, this is a very diverse podcast with what we talk about. And we're kind of taking a dip into 70s TV. And I know you might look at, guys, you're 28. You weren't alive back then.
No.
How could you talk about 70s TV if you weren't alive? But basically what we are doing today is we're asking, the question I'm going to ask is basically, would we or will we ever get an All in the Family reboot, and kind of take that question and kind of go into a deeper conversation of what TV shows we could never see rebooted. And the reason why I ask this is earlier this week, there was an article put out that there's a possibility that the classic 70s sitcoms for All in the Family and the Jeffersons could get reboots thanks to a new first look deal between Sony Pictures TV and legendary TV producer Norman Lear, who he produced, I want to say both of those. I know he was for sure a producer for All in the Family. Then Norman Lear came out later this week and basically said, no, we're not getting a All in the Family or in All in the Family reboot. His exact quote here, I'm looking at ideas you've never heard of. I have about 100 ideas that go back 30 to 40 years, some only 12 to 10 years. These are the ideas that we've had and nurtured for the longest time that we will imagine or reimagine. And for me, when I heard this, when I first saw the first article, Johnny, when I just saw the headline, All in the Family reboot, I don't know about you, but I was very familiar with All in the Family growing up. And that's only because my parents liked All in the Family. And it was just on at times. And like you would just watch it and I would see random episodes here and there. And thinking about it now, like that TV show, I would even say to my mom as like I grew up as an adult and got into college and stuff, I would just watch that show and go, man, you couldn't say that now. Like some of the stuff on that show, even like I'm just going very basic here.
Yeah.
Of when Archie Bunker, like Edith, his wife, would say something, he'd go, can it, Edith? Even that would be like you can't really get away with that so much right now. The tone that he would use, like
how he would talk to her,
how he would talk down to her, he would talk down to the daughter, especially
you meathead.
Yeah, the boyfriend. What you doing, you meathead?
You don't know what you're talking about, you meathead.
And then you'd always have Edith go, "Oh, Archie." And basically, like,
girls were girls and men were men.
And, dude, we listened to that theme song.
Did. That's
and
why
it's
I brought it up.
Oh my God, you couldn't play this.
You couldn't even play the theme song.
You couldn't have this on TV right now. And it kind of got me thinking of what other TV shows do you think we could never see on TV? First off, I want to get your opinion just a little bit in depth of what would you do, or how would you, if TV company came to you and said, your goal is to write an All in the Family reboot, there's no way around it, how would you even do it for this era?
That's a really hard thing. But here's the thing. There's like a little glimmer of hope that some of it, if you were trying to emulate that, it would get shut down so fast. But let's put it this way. We could try to do somewhat of the humor they had in it, because look what happened. Roseanne was great in the 90s. I don't know why I couldn't think of the era.
And then it was taking off.
And then it was taking off until she ran her mouth.
Until she was an idiot. Yeah,
until she ran her mouth on Twitter.
Until she was an idiot. Yeah, just a blatant idiot.
Yeah, and then ruined it for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone in that cast. But, I mean, yeah, that was working out.
Because you can't have Roseanne without Roseanne.
Exactly. But here's the thing. No, sorry, back thought of that.
What, you can't have Roseanne without Roseanne?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something popped in my head. But anyways, I mean, that show was working out, and it was controversial. And she was still being Roseanne on the show, and it was working out. Like I said, it wasn't the show that didn't work out; it was her running her mouth off that didn't. So I mean, yeah, you can, but you wouldn't be able to have All in the Family like it was back then. You'd have to have somewhat of a now All in the Family. So it'd have to take place in 2000 now.
The one thing I liked about All in the Family, was because the Jeffersons were on All in the Family. Because originally, before they move on up to the east side, they lived next to the bunkers for a little bit, I believed. And the thing I always liked with that is Mr. Jefferson would never take Archie's shit, and he would always challenge him. So it was kind of like hey, I'm not going to take your crap, and I'm going to challenge you on stuff. But like I would watch that and I'd be like, you can't have that right now. Like another show that I thought of that we had as kids that I'm not quite sure we could have now. I'll throw it out to you. Remember Celebrity Deathmatch?
Yes.
Do you think we could have that now? Like there's part of me that's like, yeah, we could have it now.
If Adult Swim did it.
But then there's part of me that's like, I don't know if we could do that anymore. Because like back in the day it was like, maybe it's because it's animation and you can get away with a little bit more with animation. So maybe that's why we could still get that now. But like that was my first thought from like kids is like, man, I remember that show being like, whoa, what the hell?
Animation and like the only way you'd be able to get away with it really without people like flipping shit is if it was done on like Adult Swim or something like that.
Yeah.
Like Adult Swim gets away with anything. So like because like they're just controversial in the first place. If you're gonna start bitching about something that Adult Swim said, you're like fighting. You're like trying to climb up a hill of mud.
Yeah,
you're getting nowhere because there's so much of either fandom or people that just don't give a shit of what you're saying when people are watching Adult Swim. Yeah, it's like whatever.
Well, because let's be honest, Adult Swim for the longest time has basically been like. The way I would describe it is you're a preteen / teenager that wants to watch edgy comedy that your parents might not like you watching. B, you're a stoner that just gets stoned and watches Adult Swim, which there's nothing wrong with that. And then
please tell me there's a C.
And then C is basically you just like weird crap like Metalocalypse was kind of weird.
I loved it.
I loved it, but Metalocalypse was like to the outside weird. Aqua Team Hunger Force to the people that didn't like that show
is weird.
Like it's just weird. It's weird animation. I hated that show. I couldn't stand Squidbillies.
That was funny.
It was
stupid.
Every time it would come
funny.
on after, Aqua Team Hunger Force.
Yeah.
I couldn't change off of it quick enough.
My dreams were all dead and buried.
Couldn't change off of it quick
Sometimes
enough.
I wish the sun would just explode.
Yeah, I did. I was not a Squidbillies guy.
When God comes and calls me to his kingdom.
Like I said, not a what.
I thought it was funny.
What else do you think we could see? Because like we were talking about this with my mom before we got to the podcast. Here's one that she threw out that I don't know is completely true.
Huh?
Rocky and Bullwinkle. Could we redo Rocky and Bullwinkle now?
I think we'd be fine.
I think we could too. We just make fun of that Boris and Natasha, they've worked for Putin.
Let's put it that way. That's where you're going to start getting in trouble because you're going to hit too much of a controversy.
True.
You just do the accent.
You don't throw Trump into it. You just put Putin into it.
No, you don't throw any of them into it. Or you do it because of controversy.
I know.
But Boris and Natasha, I think that would be fine. Rocky and Bullwinkle will be fine as long as you don't add in any...
something you really like.
I thought I would have something by the time you finished that, and I did not.
No.
You know what? I'm having trouble finding ones that aren't that bad or that are bad because like Bewitched isn't too bad. Some of the like obviously it was the time. Yeah. So there's some things here and there with that not that great, but that wouldn't happen if you do a reboot. Same thing with I'm trying. Sandra and Sons wouldn't be that bad, if you ask me.
Why not?
Well, what was really wrong about it?
I'm just asking. I'm not trying to say like there would be. Yeah,
it's not bad. That's all I'm saying. Like I'm trying to find ones right now that would be bad, and I'm having trouble right now because what I'm finding are like, oh, okay, Sanford and Sons. It's honestly just the father and son comedy duo. that like they just own a junk shop in a sense, or if they reboot it, it would probably more of a junk shop as opposed to out of their house.
Yeah, out of their house where it's kind of like a junkyard.
Or it'd be Hoarders.
Yeah, basically. Hoarders, the TV show. I mean, for me, the big one, and that's why I put it here at the beginning, is All in the Family. Like, the other ones that I could think of is, like I said, Celebrity Deathmatch. I mean, for some people...
What do you think about Different Strokes?
I don't know. What would really be wrong with Different Strokes?
I'm just bringing it up to you. Like, the Jeffersons, again, is another one I don't see as that bad.
No.
Different Strokes, not necessarily. But, honestly, I want to put this out there. Any show you put out there, someone's going to find something wrong with it.
No, exactly. And especially where the culture that we live in today.
Yeah.
We've seen it with James. Like, James Gunn is the one that both you and me have talked about. I find that little situation, not 100% the like, oh, he is wrong. Obviously, the jokes that he made are twisted, but it's like, you got to understand where he was coming from at the time. He was like, that was what was comedy.
Well, I'm going to put it out there. Watch the movie Super.
And he worked on that.
That's where during those jokes came out during when he worked on that movie.
True.
See the mindset he was in then and see what and I'm not justifying the comments he made. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But it's also Disney, you should have known he made these comments back then. Like, if you'd done your homework and done the right thing, the right thing is of hiring someone, you looked into their background, you would have seen these tweets were there. Something like, oh, no, you only fired him. To be honest, I think they only fired him because the tweets got highlighted.
And, like, the thing that I also, like, the thing I look at is, and I'm going to bring this up because, like, this is necessarily why... part of me when it comes to like sitcoms, when you start going back further, the 60s, the 70s, like just look at where society was back then, except for like the ones that you've brought up, the Jeffersons, Sanford and Son, the Cosby Show when it was out. Then we get to the 90s and there's why am I blanking on it? Will Smith. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
How many of the, like, you can look back in time, how many of the sitcoms were like, oh, this is just a completely white cast. This is just a completely white sitcom. Or like I said, with All in the Family, with maybe the exception being to Mr. Jefferson, because Mr. Jefferson was always the one that was going to not be called on anyone, like call people on their shit and challenge them. He was the only African-American character that did that, though, in that show.
And then, I mean, you got the flip side of that, too, where it's like the Cosby Show, the Jeffersons. The Cosby Show, the Jeffersons. I just want to make sure people are hearing you and not like, I can't hear them. See, Cosby Show, I said the Jeffersons. And the Sanford and Sons, you had the other flip side of that. It was all black cast.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing that, I mean... even like I'm looking at our childhood because like the 90s, we looked into like here's one that I still to this day am shocked it's still on the air in some way. South Park. How it's able to come out with new episodes. Like they're not as
no, they are. They are. No, don't say they aren't.
But like they're not afraid to tackle pop culture issues.
Popular issues today.
Yeah.
And then
I'm shocked that it's still I'm shocked that that show has not been destroyed by whether you want to call it SJW culture or this just overall society that we're in today, that they're still able to do what they do and put out the comedy that they put out.
I think the only thing that saves them to some degree, and they don't even do this all the time, they try and like put someone on one side of the other and just make fun of both sides of it. Overall saying... like
the Trump-Hillary thing. They made fun of both of them.
Overall saying, this is all fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Which I agree with. It's all fucking stupid that we're this sensitive and this argumentative about all this shit.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I'm going to say that this is turning the conversation Go ahead.
I got one more for you that I want to hear your opinion on it. Because I don't think it's that bad. Married with Children.
You know what?
There's some like sketchy stuff that went on here and there.
If you look at it closely, is Archie Bunker the best father?
Hell no.
Hell no. But
he lets his daughter go out and do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
Same with the son and giving him horrible advice.
Exactly. I mean, one of the things that show, I was so young though, watching it to where it never clicked. Like even watching that 70s show now, like that's not a show that I watch and go, oh my God, like this is bad. But like I'll watch that one and go, like I'll turn to my dad and go, is that how it really was in the 70s? My dad will be like, yeah, that's how we just didn't care. We just didn't care about that back then.
Yeah.
Like here's a story my mom told me from when they were like kids and how culture was now. Where, and I'm not saying this is bad that we're not like that.
No.
It's just a difference where you get pulled over now for drunk driving.
Yeah.
You're screwed. You're getting a ticket. You're getting arrested. You're screwed. You got DUI now.
You
back in the day,
really screwed yourself over.
Yeah. Back in the day in like the 70s, my mom said the cop would pull you over. You'd be drunk. He would lock your keys in the trunk and have you walk home. Or like sometimes drive you home. And then you had to have someone else come get your keys out of your trunk and drive your car home.
But I hope you have more than one set of keys.
Basically. Like they would, like that's a very like kind of one-off kind of thing. But like that's how it was back then.
Yeah, it was. We cracked down immensely since then.
Like even think to when we were kids, 90s, early 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the last thing I was kind of going to warp this into is comedy in general. Like, how many stand-up comics do you watch to where it's like, wow, if you said that, not like old specials were,
geez.
like Andrew Dice Clay specials, Hickory Dickory, like all his nursery rhyme stuff.
I believe one of them, George Garfield. If I
George Carlin.
Carlin.
Exactly.
You say half of that shit nowadays.
Exactly.
My God.
Exactly. And it's like, to me, that to me is the biggest thing I hate about our society right now.
Carlos Mencia.
The thing with him, though, is he was stealing jokes.
He was stealing jokes.
Yeah.
You are correct.
That's the thing that kind of makes me go, like,
but I mean, he
liked
wasn't
Mind
afraid
of Mencia at the beginning
I
before
did.
I like knew that. And when
At
it was
first
just stupid comedy.
Yeah.
Chappelle Show. Could you get away, like, even when Chappelle came out with his Netflix comedy specials, there's a little bit of blowback from people. There was a little bit. Like, think about Chappelle Show where I will tell you this.
Chappelle Show.
What, like, imagine that Chappelle Show is brand new and you see his sketch about Cletus. The African-American man. No, not that.
Which one?
The African-American man who is blind and is a white supremacist. Like, if that was brand new in today's day and age,
I remember that one.
Couldn't get away with it.
No, that would be like, the show would be shut down.
Yeah. Like, I don't even think Chappelle's Show in this day and age could have gotten away with, remember the show that was big when we were kids, like in the 2000s, Trading Places?
Yeah.
Where basically you had one family over here and one family over here, and they're going to trade, and they're trading wives, or not, now that's wife swap, but like the wives are trading families for one whole week. And
yeah, no, I remember that
Trading Places was the first one of that. Wife swap was then the kind of, hey, we're going to use the same thing and call it something different.
Exactly.
But his whole sketch was him playing the father in both situations, but one was a white family and one was a black family. And like, I think of that, couldn't do, like, I don't think you could get away with that now.
Oh, so even some of the 70s and 80s SNL skits. Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood.
Yes.
There's one, it's Uncle Jemima's Mash Liquor. Those ones would not be accepted.
Yeah.
They are actually hilarious.
Like if they were brand new right now.
Oh, no. they would be like huge blowback on both of those. But they were comics and like they were funny.
Well, like think of it this way, and this is kind of how things kind of morph a little bit.
Yeah.
Is I remember like think about what E used to be when we were kids. Do you remember what E used to be?
I don't, honestly.
So E's all reality television right now. The thing I remember most about E from my childhood was after a certain time, it was Howard Stern.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
After a certain time, late at night, it was Howard Stern, and they didn't censor anything.
Well, then again, remember when we were in the 90s and early 2000s?
The FCC rules were very different.
MTV was still also music videos.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't reality. And that's also, now we're getting into
the paradigm shift.
Yeah, now we're getting into how channels switch and stuff. Like me and Dave talked about last week with the Teen Titans thing.
Yeah. How
Cartoon Network, when in the 2000s, it was very based towards, hey, we're going to target the junior high school kids. Then they flipped it. I don't know what year it happened. Basically, we used it as Teen Titans, where Teen Titans, then it ended, oh, we're going to do Teen Titans Go. And it's like, all right, you are blatantly going towards a younger audience. You're using the same actors, but you're going towards a way younger audience.
I don't like that show.
Well, and you're not the target audience.
I know.
I'm not the target. I
know.
The target audience. That's why it's okay if we don't like it.
Yeah, now that's why, like, you hear comments from people our age.
Oh, there are some people our age that like it.
Yeah, there's some people that like it, but there's also one like you and I don't know you exactly, but I think Cartoon Network nowadays is kind of shit at this point.
I mean, I don't want except for Adult Swim.
I only watch Adult Swim now.
And usually Adult Swim is, hey, when's the new Rick and Morty coming out?
Exactly.
Like that's it.
Not to mention also, I just found out that on Wednesdays, I don't know if it's any other day of the week, but Wednesdays it seems that they play at least one Dragon Ball Z episode now. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's still that. There's Toonami too, and Saturday nights. But who's watching TV on Saturday night? That we're usually out doing something.
But like, I even remember too of like, because I don't think it's like this anymore to the degree. But like, even like the thing I liked about Comedy Central back in the day was basically after a certain hour, it was Comedy Central After Dark, where it's like, hey, we're gonna play this comedy special. We don't have to bleep the swears anymore. We don't have to censor this comedy.
After this time of day.
And I know this is going to get into a topic that is way bigger than what we originally started, but I want to bring it up anyways. Because eventually, I think you and I are going to have this discussion. I think we're leading towards it. And I kind of mentioned it a little bit ago, but I want to really just hammer home on it to kind of end this and bring everything kind of maybe full circle, but maybe get completely off of where we started, which I knew this conversation was going to go.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I hate about this society or the world we live in today is because it seems like everybody is offended by something, comedy is dead. To me, true comedy is dead. Because I remember... like
dead or dying.
And I'm not saying like, for example, I'm going to bring up James Gunn again. I'm not saying that, hey, you need to be okay with what he tweeted because what he tweeted isn't right. But in most cases, it's if it offends you, it is your right to be offended. But coming from this sense of comedy, like if it's in that realm of comedy, it's coming from usually when I've seen interviews of comedians talk, usually it comes from a dark place. Like the one that I remember is like Louis C.K., dark place.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan comes from a darker place.
A lot of comics, their stuff comes from a dark place somewhere.
They take that darkness, they make light of it.
Exactly.
That's how they have their comedic bits and how they do everything.
Yeah. No, I mean, a lot of it, and yeah, you're allowed to be offended by whatever you're offended by, but that's for you to deal with.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's for you to deal with. You shouldn't, and this is the problem with society, in my opinion. You shouldn't try and make someone change because you're offended by something. Deal with it. That is your problem to deal with, not mine, not yours, not theirs. If you're offended by something, You deal with it. Get over it. Walk away from it. Don't watch it. Don't watch. There's shows I don't watch on TV because I don't like it.
Well, like me with Squidbillies.
Yeah, exactly.
If I don't like it, I just turn it off. Or like as a kid,
it's not for you to tell everyone what to do in that sense.
Maybe because as a kid, and you could also say, well, Ricky, you were young. It was like, oh, that was bad. And then you look. But like there were times where like I would hear a joke. You would still laugh at it and go, oh my God, that's so bad.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I can't believe he just said that. But you wouldn't be like, fuck this guy, kind of a thing. Exactly. And like,
I like the thundering sound I made with that.
And the thing that I want to get back to is like what you said.
Yeah.
If you're offended by something, it's your right to be offended by it.
Exactly. You have the right to be offended.
You can be offended by whatever you want, and usually you get this too with like comedians have to deal with this when they meet with fans, is there might be some that don't like your comedy. Exactly. That's fine. Turn it off.
Turn it off.
Don't listen to it.
Don't go see the show.
Exactly. Like you don't have to, because for every one person that hates, like for this show, for example, for MVP.
Yeah.
For every person that gives us one hateful comment, there's another person out there that loves it.
Exactly. I'll put it this way. So when you, and this is what I'm talking about with society. I just want to like make an example of, like, not an example, but I want to make a analogy. So when you go to Starbucks, if you don't like black coffee, you don't buy black coffee. You don't make the other person not black. But if this other person over here likes black coffee, you don't tell them, well, I don't like black coffee, so you can't buy black coffee. Starbucks, you can't sell black coffee because I don't like black coffee. No, that's not how the world's supposed to work.
Yeah.
Everyone likes something different. No one's the same. You can be offended by it. You can not like something. It's not for everyone else to deal with.
Everybody is not going to love everything.
Exactly. You're not going to like, no one's going to like everything.
For example, you like Mexican food, right?
I love it.
I'm not a huge fan of Mexican.
No, you're not.
Let's put it this way. You like spicy food, right?
To an extent. I do have food problems, but yes, I like it.
I hate spicy food.
I know you do.
I do. I hate spicy food. Like, Sean wants to be on Hot Ones. That's great. I could never do it. I can't stand spicy food.
It's not going to stop me from asking you, but I know you're going to say no.
Yeah. It's like, for example, do you like seafood?
Yeah, actually.
I hate seafood.
Yeah.
I can't stand it unless it's like fried shrimp. Fried shrimp or like cocktail shrimps that like you put out in the, you take them out of the freezer, you defrost them. And
on a side note, how come we've never gone for that then?
What,
I love
cocktail
both.
shrimps?
Or either one.
I mean,
fried shrimp or
whenever
cocktail
we have a
shrimp?
family party, we always have cocktail shrimp.
Well, where's the fried shrimp? You never asked me to go get it with you.
My cousin Karen and I always devour those cocktail shrimps.
Yeah, so do I. Those are delicious. Yeah. Side note.
Usually it's just me and my cousin Karen just eating those cocktail shrimps.
Oh, same with our family. Anytime we actually have it for a family function, I probably have eaten like
I've had clam chowder
10.
once.
Huh?
Once. Clam chowder.
You don't like clam chowder?
I had it once. The reason why I don't eat it, I had it in Corpus Christi when I was in high school. Got sick. Got sick.
See,
a bad batch in Texas, man.
Yeah, no, that's all it takes.
My friends were like, really? You're getting clam chowder in Texas?
That's not the best idea.
You don't get clam chowder in the Northeast? The Boston area? Boston?
Probably not your best idea.
Gonna get some clam chowder.
Just saying. That's
Pocky-Con, Harvard Yard. You know what I'm saying there, Sean?
Anyways, probably not your best idea.
Bad Boston accent.
That was a bad Boston accent. That probably wasn't your best idea.
No, it wasn't.
Probably should have gotten steak.
It was like a shop
or barbecue.
It was like in Corpus Christi, this like place on the beach, and I got freaking clam chowder.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
That clam chowder.
Because like I went to the Northeast, I went to Boston.
Or like Pittsburgh, I hear has some good clam chowder.
Do they have good clam chowder? Because I didn't get Pittsburgh clam chowder.
I think Pittsburgh has some clam chowder.
I'm thinking you should go to the Northeast coast,
I don't know
like
why I'm
Boston.
talking like Pittsburgh in a Boston accent.
I don't know, but you think you need to go to Boston for Boston food, like clam chowder.
Clam chowder.
I got me and my dad $30 for three lobsters.
$30.
$30 for 3 lobsters, about yay big. They were this fucking big, and they just pulled them right out of the fucking water. And yeah, I'm gonna keep saying them. And me and Dad each ate one, and then we split the second one.
You split the second one
because Mom and Christy didn't want it.
Here's the last thing I'll ask.
Do you like my
I'm just
Boston
totally
accent?
gonna. It was so natural. I'm just gonna blow right by it. Any final thoughts on this before we wrap up the podcast?
No, this has been very good and very enlightening.
It's therapeutic.
It is.
It's therapeutic. Like, this was one where I knew this segment was going to start where we started and then kind of morph into something
I do
else.
not have one. Someone might get offended by that Boston accent I did.
Yeah, they might.
They might think I'm a big
I think
asshole.
they'd be more offended by mine than yours.
Yeah, but still, I am pretending to have a Boston accent when I'm not from Boston.
I mean, really.
Someone's going to be offended by it.
Well, it's like this. Here's because we have an accent as well.
Yeah, we do.
I will ask you this.
Wait, we have an accent?
The city we are from, the big market city we are from, Johnny, how do you say it? How do you say our city?
Chicago?
Say it one more time.
Chicago.
Yeah. So I had this conversation with Dave. Our accent, like...
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I supposed to say Chicago?
No. There's two different...
Yeah.
There's some people, I think it's the north side that
Chicago.
says Chicago. No, I think it's the north side that says Chicago, where ours is Chicago.
Chicago.
That Chicago.
Which is surprising because you'd think I'd have like... Well, we do live south side, but I mean, I've got a lot of northern influences.
Because I always say,
So you
dude,
think
we're
I'd
from
say the other-
Chicago. It's Chicago. It's that C-A, that Ka, not Caw.
Yeah, there's no U in there.
Yeah, it's Chicago. Like, I'd ask you that
You're also exaggerating in
I'm playing it.
the
It's
part,
really
but
Chicago.
It's Chicago.
Chicago.
No, yeah, it's Chicago.
But really...
Oh, shit, I just said the other way now.
Yeah, and then you don't know what way you're saying it. But
What way do I say Chicago?
this is where you guys come in before we just keep going on this over and over and over.
How do I say Chicago?
Let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section about this. One's a loaded segment.
Oh, it
First
is.
off, let us know about any TV shows you think we missed that you used to watch.
I probably missed a lot of them.
Well, and this is the great thing about this topic, spans ages.
No, it does.
Like, it's a TV show from your childhood that you necessarily... My mom brought up another good one, Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, hell yeah. I forgot about that.
We didn't even bring that up. I don't even think we could do that nowadays. Let us know. Just give me one or two or some shows from your childhood that we could not reboot now. If that came out brand new right now, people would flip their shit. Also, let us know what you think about that second part. Like, when we talked about the comedy part and when we dove into a lot.
Yeah.
A lot in this segment. Let us know what you think down below in the comment section. The camera's off. You're looking at the logo on YouTube, but I'm going to do a little housekeeping here at the end. Anyways, make sure to check out patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast if you like what we're doing, if you love what we're doing here on the Comcast or on the podcast.
The Comcast.
Well, here's the thing. Johnny, you guys can't see it right now, is giving me the finger. In my brain, I associate giving the finger to Comcast.
Oh, okay.
Because they tried to ruin my Disney Fox deal. So that is just implanted in my brain.
Wow.
So if you love the podcast, make sure to check out Most Valuable Podcast.
I did it because they can't see it.
On Twitter. You can also check out mostvaluablepodcast.com to catch MVP each and every day. You can also get our store there and in the description to get yourself a Most Valuable Podcast t-shirt. And last but not least, if you're on Apple Podcast or iTunes, make sure to give us a 5-star rating and let us know why you like listening to the podcast each and every week. I want to thank you guys for watching, even though you can't see me. I want to thank you guys for listening on podcast services around the world. Johnny and I will be back next week. But as always, have a good day, everybody.